What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another Flock of Seagulls track. Been very excited to go through this album. I mentioned it before, the I Ran song is one I've always loved, I've always enjoyed the sound of, and then as I mentioned, I heard a lot of these tunes that are like 80s synth pop tunes in the 80s as a single digit kid. I was born in 1980. And then over time, like especially by the time I got to the 90s and I started to pay attention to lyrics more, I remember being very amused when I sort of came to realize it's a song about an encounter with an extraterrestrial but very compelling woman, and then maybe, sort of a UFO abduction. But ultimately, it's a song I've always loved, and I always wanted to know more about the group. And again, through awesome people like Han Solo and also Philip and Izzy and so on, I've been able to access material from a number of groups that I did not have yet. But in a lot of these cases, I'm enjoying the album so much that they absolutely are going on my to-buy list for eventually to get a physical copy of. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying going through their self-titled 1982 debut album, A Flock of Seagulls. And yeah, I enjoyed not only the track that I did know, I Ran, which seemed to have a longer and more wicked intro than I had ever heard before. So maybe I had always heard the radio cut, which I think is probably the same one that they used for the video. But yeah, that was a cool sort of addition to the tune. And then the next two tracks have had that same kind of like, synth pop, but also kind of new wave, post-punk kind of feel. There's an edge to their music. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm very excited to keep going through the album. We're up to a tune that a couple of you, I think, have already mentioned that you're fond of, which is Space Age Love Song. I'm very intrigued by the title. When you add a modifying phrase to an already existent, like noun sort of phrase, you are basically characterizing the original concept, but within, the new adjective and the way that might apply. So a love song, that's as old as, I suppose, music itself, certainly in terms of like recorded music. But yeah, a space age love song would, maybe suggest a, sci-fi or at least futuristic type of love song, perhaps, saturated with trappings and sort of experiences that are beyond that which we terrestrial humans still struggle with or deal with the burden of. So yeah, Space Age Love Song might be in some way like celestial, beyond sort of the experience of current humans. But yeah, it's not clear if that's futuristic necessarily, in the sense that, the space age, as that term was used historically, basically refers to the middle of the 20th century, when not only certain types of transportation technology and explorative technology was increasing, but also, the flip side of that technology, which is, nuclear weapons and so on. And so it's sometimes referred to also as the atomic age, so it could be a retrospective space age love song, though it could be more forward-looking and, again, kind of sci-fi. Though again, this is just a speculation. It might have nothing to do with any of those ideas, so we'll have to see. But yeah, this is the Flock of Seagulls Space Age Love Song from their self-titled 1982 debut album. That guitar, I'm beginning to pick up on their guitar flavor. Like the sort of string sense too. Very rich, warm. Feels like a euphoric tune. Which makes sense. A love song, that it would be euphoric. Oh. A lot of emotion in this already. Love the tonal progression of those like bar changes. hear that one. He touched my mind, but what was the next one? Some other synth stuff happening. When I went to comment on it, it evaporated, but it's like these like loud sort of percussive waves of music. This makes me nostalgic for like the best aspects of the 80s. I love that. In those like large percussive like whooshes. There's a string melody in the middle of all that that's just glorious. Oh, the synth bass. It was like growling more than I realized. That's a great tune. Different feel than the first three, I would say, and I enjoy that. I like when an album has some variety, and a band, has some diversity of sound. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was a ballad. It felt like a little too fast to be a ballad, but it definitely had a more emotional kind of, again, warm and euphoric feel. So yeah, I have to hear the lyrics some more. There was definitely like some specificity to the lines, but I didn't pick up on every line. So I think there's some details there that I have to fill in. But it did feel like a very positive, euphoric space age love song. So yeah, very cool tune. I can see why this was one that people were looking forward to. Do let me know what you think of the song. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.